Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be going over the Reason Rack plugin effect, namely the main input and sidechain input and what they kind of mean and what the general workflow is working with these two inputs. So the main input is essentially what is coming from the DAW, from the clip in this case. In Ableton, we have this loop here. And I like working with material like that. It sounds really cool, has nice textures in it that we can affect. So that would be the main input that would come in, and we have, the pulverizer coming in like that into the input and then to the output. The main output is effectively what is happening here. So it's, very well kind of built in. Got input and then output, right? That should make sense. The sidechain is, I believe it was a way to kind of streamline sidechain compression and routing. It's just kind of built into VST3 in terms of this drop down here. So this is how you have access to this sidechain input here. So I'm going to be going over how to go about doing that and how I would go about making a neat sound with this. It's going to be a little bit of a longer-ish video, a little bit of sound design and all sorts of fun stuff. So how I like to work is I'll just start by using the browser here. I'm going to go into utilities. I'm going to drag in a mixer. And then I'm going to drag in, I guess, Spider, Audio, Merger, and Splitter. So this is going to be how I'm effectively going to communicate with the outside world. I'll flip it over and we see, master out, left, right, makes sense. Okay, let's get some containers in here because I want to have some flexibility with what's going on here. It's very important. So let me. Yeah, so the main input's going to come in, and the mixer is going to mix everything. So main input, I want it to be split, essentially. And I like to have a lot of flexibility and kind of plan ahead depending on how deep I'm going to go. So the main is going to go into this splitter here, right? Split into 4, and then this is going to be moved into this splitter here. So now I effectively have, 4, 5, 6, 7 signals from the main here. So like I've effectively split the signal, and you can kind of daisy chain these as much as you want forever and ever, and that's just how I like to work. I can also merge, but that's another video. So we have that, and that should be very well kind of understood. I like to have channel 1 as a dry channel, so I'll just drag that into that right there. So let me just give that a play. Right, we have our dry channel here. And that works out quite well. I want to get a combiner in here, and yeah, I'll just drag in a combiner. Okay, so it does that. That's cool. I want that. But if I don't want that, these are things, you learn something every day. If I don't want any connections to be made, which I very well might not want later on in this video, I can hold shift and drag it in, and it will not populate and things like that. I tend to like to patch things manually. It's what I'm into. But yeah, let's just let it do what it wants to do. So I'll drag in the combiner, right? The combiner is set to channel 2. The output and the input will be through one of these splitters, right? Makes sense. Okay, so there's that, and then I'll just drag in another one, kaboom. That is automatically populated into channel 3. Very cool, it's named accordingly, and I will take the splitter here and then plop it into that. So now, yeah, I'm just essentially making all my combiners, and I can do this forever and ever, and have submixers and just have this go on forever. It can get really crazy and fun. Fun is the important part. But anyway, I'm digressing. Who needs fun? This is techno music. I'm joking. So let's give it a listen. right? So it's effectively splitting it up a bunch of times. So I'll just bring those down. Oh, better yet, I should actually practice safe hygiene. I will just leave and I'll mute the dry. So this channel 1 for me is always dry. Dry is good. And channel 2 is this combinator right here. I can see that. I can also like name it. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet, but I can name it. Okay, so there's that. Let's get some sort of something crazy. See, the choices are endless. Let's get an amp in there. So kaboom, amp, flip it around, and it is, as far as I know, yeah, automatically populated. This is going to get a little confusing, so I'm just going to hide the cables for now. I like to look at cables, but we've dropped in the amp here, and the connections are automatically made. We can see. So yeah, let's give that a listen. Right? It's a really cool vibe. It's a really awesome texture here. Right? Really good. Right? That's pretty dope. And maybe this one. Nope. Right? This is pretty wide. Or we can bypass. Right? For just that low end. So these are, they emulate speaker cabinets beyond the scope of this video, but these emulate like guitar cabinets. And I chose this because it's a very obvious effect and it sounds really cool. Maybe I can go room. And I can adjust the volume as well, so I can mix these two. Anyway, let's get into what we all paid for here. I'm going to get maybe channel dynamics might be appropriate. Actually, no. I'll just, I want you to actually see. So I'll drop in the master bus compressor here. Okay, so this is the master bus compressor. I'll flip this around. Automatically reroutes it. Very much appreciated. And we can see, where it goes and stuff like that. So here is the cool part. We have this sidechain input here, and that comes from an external channel, depending on what's going on. I want to actually, before I do that, I want to actually set up that sidechain channel. So I'm going to, I guess, create a new audio track, duplicate that, move that over there, double click on it, and stop this one. And I just want to listen to this one. Right, so yeah, let's, we're on beats now. We'll go beats. We'll set it to quarter. We'll set it to just kind of play once on the transient. I can set this to any kind of length. And you'll notice that it's more like tickier. Right, that should be good, right? It's just a sound. It's just like a frame of reference, I guess. And this will be, yeah, we'll name this something obvious. Oops. Whoa, side chain kick. Okay, so this is the side chain kick. Kind of, I guess it's called like a ghost kick. I'll just have it over here. And the reason why I have it over here is because I want it at the top of that list. It's important to me. It's more important than Christmas or the holidays, whatever you want to call it. So the side chain input right here, kaboom, there it is, side chain kick. So there it is, and we'll just leave all that. So now there is an input, that side chain right there. Boom, look at that. Isn't that fun? So let's give that a play. And what we can do is we can flip this guy around, and we have this side chain output here. And where does it go? Master bus compressor, where that amp is. Boom, boom. Flip it around, and we can engage the sidechain so it's active. So it's reacting to that input. We can actually see in the VU meter here. I'll just close that. And let's get the attack time like so. And I can bring the threshold down. We're going to have the ratio up like that. All right, so we're effectively sidechaining our friend here. Very neat. I do enjoy that. We can get really deep with some kind of complex sidechaining from within this, but I thought that would be a good kind of starting point. And by doing this, we have our dry kick here, which I'll solo. And then we have our affected, but it's sidechained, so we get, I guess, continuity. And what can we do? We can add a, I guess, a channel EQ, very high quality EQ. Turn that on. Right, really kind of cleans it up. I find that to be fun, and I enjoy doing that. Let's kind of let's take a look at some other ways we can go about doing that. We have a bunch of spider audios here. Let's drag in another one, and that other one will be for the sidechain, right? So we can split the sidechain input, right? Makes sense. So we'll go into utilities, and this will be the spider audio merger and splitter. I could just drag it up there, which I'll do, and I'll put that one. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. I really want to organize these, but actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just leave it down there because that's how I roll. So I'm going to take that and then drag it there and then drag it there. So that's connected to the combinator, and then I'll just drag that. So it's basically split down here, which, you know, makes sense, I suppose. And I guess that way we can kind of combine those, and this will be our combiner of the audio split and then the sidechain split as well. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Just how things are kind of populated. Let's get something else in here. I want maybe another cool effect that we can have is we can have a reverb here, and then I'll drag in. I'll just drag in the channel dynamics. This is a separate kind of flavor, and that was what's going on there? Oh yeah, that was automatically populated. That makes sense. Good thing I planned ahead. So there's that. We have our sidechain, and I'll just name this. Oops, sidechain. I'll just call it sidechain. There's sidechain, that's what it is. Drag it in there, boom, boom, populates them both. Really like that. And yeah, we can activate that one as well. And we can bring down the threshold. Why not? Get the threshold up there. And let us give it a listen. All right, so we can do all sorts of convolution kind of stuff there, and do some CV. Why not? But yeah, that's essentially what's going on there. We have LEDs as the gain reduction readout, but we can hear it, right? And we can adjust the release as well. Get some dampening going on. And from here, maybe we can drop in a retro transformer. And then give it some bottom. So here's a fun way. You can hold shift and then drag, and it will reorder the wires here. the cables, right? Doesn't really, well, it probably does make a difference with that, but it's a good way to kind of audition and reorder things. And I really enjoy working this way. It's pretty fun. So we have, yeah, combiner 1 and combiner 2. And this gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of what we're doing. I've actually turned on the EQ. Really cool. And I don't know, I just like cables everywhere. It gives me a weird sense of accomplishment. Don't ask me why. I'm sure you understand. From there, maybe I'll stop, and if you're interested, I can go maybe deeper than that. I just wanted to get the sidechain workflow down, how I would go about doing the sidechain. So let's leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.